too.
There you go. They learned the lesson.
Worthwhile note.
Who banned it?
Khan banned it out.
Logic suggests they win.
I can see where you're going with this. I think Faceless Void kind of represents the same idea, obviously differently than Spectre, but it's like this long cooldown. We win team fights with this, but it's not quite as forgiving as Haunt. Like Haunt pretty much always has a similar effectiveness if used at the right time, while Faceless Void's Chrono, if you don't focus the right target or you manage to barely miss the right target, it can go poorly quite quickly. So I think he's like a less reliable version of Spectre right now, but I think he's still a very powerful hero. And against Batrider and Enchantress, those are two heroes that don't really threaten you very well. You lane pretty well against Bat if you need to, because you have time dilation to prevent the sticky stacks. And you're also a hero that reliably catches the Bat. And they have the follow-up with the Mirana. I'd hope they give it a little more damage for Chrono. I think Faceless Void's always easier to play when you throw some damage in there.
So they go with Jakiro. More damage, more control, easy things to set it up. Batrider and Enchantress, it doesn't like reveal anything. It doesn't say like we're gonna do this. Enchantress most likely gonna be played as position 5. I don't see her being played at different roles. But she doesn't have a good thing to dispel. Like, it's just a lane dominator, but you also want to get the value out of that enchant.
Just to remind everyone at home, because there's a lot of people in chat currently saying things about why is it taking so long for us to get into the games. It's not actually us in control of it. We're waiting on Epic to kind of do their thing. Good old Epicenter just waiting for them to move on forward. It's their timing, so there's 15 minutes for the players between each game. Slightly bit longer than normal, but main thing is we're still getting games, and we have these random podcasts just covering every topic.
Wait, are you telling me there's actually a reason why there's like a delay between games? We're not just like trying to make sure we get our airtime?
We just want to be on screen, right?
Yeah.
BSJ? You're a streamer, you know, you want to talk, so...
But I
Use your time, BSJ. Like, this is your moment to shine.
I just want to say, for the people at home, when you're watching streams and you're watching production, just please assume there's a reason for things. I feel like 99% of things that people they just assume it's just existing for no reason. Pretty much everything on stream by a personal streamer or like a production team is thought out.
By the way, ask any host, right? Any host, no matter what game they have, it's always them that will get the tweets like, you are delaying the game, because you know where the ones that like throw at the end or something. So it's like you're choosing when to throw. It's like, well, I'm not going to throw to a game that hasn't started yet. Like,
or like
come on.
a situation that's not ready to be thrown to.
Here you go, Trent. And Trent's like, what's going on?
He's petting his Pikachu over there. Oh.
There is a bad world out there that really don't. We also want to see the game, you know.
I just laugh that people seem to think like all the random factors fall into place by chance, and it's not, you know, some. It's that overall mentality. I just don't understand it, but it's pretty funny to me. So they get a ton of damage to throw into Chrono. They have the Jakiro plus the Underlord in the second round. They then follow up with the Slark, which is really nice against the Underlord, Jakiro, Mirana, but not so nice against the Faceless Void. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that one.
If you have any kind of save,
yes,
like Oracle, Shadow Demon, something that can save you. Slark is great against Underlord, like it on paper. If he's paired up with Mirana, this lane could easily go their way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, like, I think if they do normal lanes, the Underlord might struggle against the Enchantress Slark, because the Enchantress is just so good at securing the lane, even without the creep. The creep usually makes the lane really bad. That's why the Mirana was picked in response, but it's a ballsy pick to pick Slark into Faceless Void. The matchup's gotten better over the years because the Pounce now disables Time Walk. It didn't used to do that. So you kind of threaten the Void as well. But the fact that his entire kit just... like, the minute you pact, if he then time dilates you, you're kind of screwed. And if you don't have ultimate, he can just chrono you at any point. And even if you trade the chrono for your ult, it doesn't always feel that great, because you usually die afterwards. So
And there's also a ton of AoE magical damage that Slark doesn't like to play.
that hits you while you're ultied, right?
Exactly. Like even just Pit of Malice is enough to hold you in place. Your ulti is gone. They might follow it up with an Ice Path arrow that connects. It really does not look like a good Slark game.
I predict at least once this game he's gonna ult at like 2/3 health and die anyway.
Like he's gonna just take 1,200 magic damage and just die. So I think that's gonna happen at least once this game. And that's one of the worst things to happen to Slug. You want your ult to feel like I'm a god for the next 4.5 seconds, rather than I have to dodge all these spells while hoping to hit somebody.
Just quoting you that on my notes just to make sure I've got that down. We'll
Yeah,
check in on it.
I'll be looking for it. I don't usually predict specific scenarios.
That was very specific, so I like it,
Yeah.
BSJ. We're going to hold you accountable. You could look amazing.
You're probably gonna just rip out that page because of the stupid stuff that's written on, quoting BSJ. Just like BSJ. So what do they need? They could use a Yule Scepter carrier against the Darkseer to purge off the Surge Iron Shell. Like, once again, Lashrak seems fine. They have tower damage coming out from him, Jakiro, Underlord. You just win a team fight, Underlord with plus 500 damage should be more than enough. And I don't know, every single time I see Slark, like Lashrak just rips him apart.
Yeah, you definitely want a Yule's builder. I don't think there's any other way to naturally deal with a 900 move speed Slark. Like, he can even like Dark Pack the Yules off, but at that point you've already purged the Ion Shell and the Surge, so it's already kind of done its job. Yules is pretty good against the Earth Spirit anyways. It's okay against Bat.
Rider, yeah.
Sets up the arrow. So I think it's odd to say, but this hero has to buy a Yules, so that will determine their pick for sure. Like, obviously the Jakiro will probably have one at some point. Morana will probably have one at some point, but you need like that early mid-game Yules. I'm pretty sure this co-op should go Yules, whether or not it's first or second item. Like, you usually think of Orchid, but my problem with Orchid here is that if Batrider's Fireflied, he's probably okay. If Slark usually doesn't die that hard to Orchid, and whoever Darkseer's around won't die to Orchid either, so.
You have enough control, so you don't have to go for Orchid, even though Orchid is one of the best items right now. You can just really buy it on any hero. You get that early value out of it, but I definitely have to agree. Yule Scepter is a must-have. I would just straight up go with Queen of Pain.
I'm down for like a Yule's Ags, like BKB or Lincoln's kind of build on co-op, like a utility spellcaster.
Yeah,
because you're gonna get carried by Void. You have aura building from the Underlord. I think all your other boxes are checked, kind of like you said. So, I said I thought Khan was the better team coming into this.
But looking at the draft,
Darkseer Slark is pretty scary. Okay, I'm not gonna like suddenly go against my instinct. I'm not gonna be one of those people. I think they're gonna win, so I'll choose the other team. I think Team Empire's draft is better, but hey, maybe I'll.
BSJ, we're together in this one.
Is that okay?
Let's go.
We ride or die together, huh?
So you two are riding and dying on Empire mainly because of the draft.
Yeah, it's draft bait. I do think Khan's the better team based on the first two games.
But Khan is supposed to be the better team. Who banned out Spectre again?
Khan did.
Khan will win then.
Easy
Clearly, that's the logic that I'm going to go with here. I've got nothing else to give on this game other than madness that we have seen for the first two. I believe our commentators are ready. I'm waiting for production to give me that mode in the ear. There we go. He was awake. He was ready despite it being late in the day. Guys, are you ready for a third game out here? Have we leveled up that Pikachu? And who do you guys think want to win? Because these two, they've even made a pact on it now. Oh, their mics are muted.
Han,
There they
that
are.
pact is burning down right here.
You had some concerns about them maybe, flip-flopping a little bit back and forth. I know, but I think the draft, I have to agree, looks pretty scary. This is the Slark into the Faceless Void. I feel like every time I see a Slark get picked up, they're like, yeah, no thank you. Don't want to deal with this Chrono. And I agree, it's nice versus the Underlord. I get it. The lane matchup for sure. It has some other benefits too with the Dispel, but could be a rough game for Naive with no real saves to help him out from a Chrono.
And there's a lot of ways to deal with the surge from Darkseer. Normally we talk about who's he enabling. You've got this Earth Spirit. He'll be rolling around real fast, but there's a lot of forms of catch. You got Ice Path. You got Pit of Malice. You have this Yules that'll definitely be coming. You got arrows. You got Chrono. A lot of options for Empire with their lineup.
I will say though, Gilgear has impressed me in the past on the Earth Spirit, and he is enabled this game. He's got options in each of his lanes for potential plays, mostly the Darkseer, of course, right? The Iron Shell, the Surge. He's gonna run at you with the rolls and whatnot. So perhaps Gilgear can kind of pop off and help his Slark. Hopefully, as BSJ, I'm sure, is praying, no Midas Slark. I think in this kind of a game for Naive, he should just be looking to get aggressive with his teammates, right? He has a Darkseer and a Batrider as his fellow cores. Got to play around that.
And they've also made the clutch play to not give Gilgear Tiny, so we won't have a repeat of what happened in game number 1.
I don't know. He could still roll in and go for a kick out of the base.
That's true. I suppose if the Aghanim Scepter comes out, anything's fair game. So that's certainly something to keep in mind. But I believe we've got to resume. And alas, we can get into game number 3. This high-stakes best-of-3 series, a battle over the rune here as an arrow clips onto Black Archangel, but not enough follow-up damage. Not yet, at least, but the dual breath, it's there. Xnart finds it. Now Naive in pretty deep. He's only got Essence Shift, so he's got limited options. He'll just try to hit as much as he can before taking a tumble. 2-0 for Empire before the creep spawn.
Yeah, that one really hurt. That was the attempted save with the kick, but then the arrow still connects, and then a chase down right from there. So bad start for the Khan squad, and they gotta run back to lane. Should be okay. I mean, now they can just like block the wave if they want. But,
yeah, I mean, there's a silver lining there. Of all the times to die, it's maybe the least impactful from that regard, but it's not great. Will this Queen of Pain get more done this game? Didn't really work for Empire in game number 2. High expectations for Lightless here coming into game 3. A lot more to play around, that's for sure.
Some nice aspects too. There's the chrono. Maybe there'll be like an ice path or an arrow follow-up too, or like that you can follow up rather. And still the same matchup though versus Pikachu. So it needs to be cautious that Lightless once again doesn't run into any trouble like that mid game with the lassos into potential follow-up stuns once more. But yes, I would say should be a better game.
The initial part of the lane went very well for the Queen of Pain last match, so we'll see if that's the case again. Both lanes trading some damage, dual breath up top, pressuring Cheshire Cat. Darkseer, Earth Spirit, though, a classic combo.
Yeah, they stole the Ench for themselves on their team, too, to help like set this up, right? Sure that there wouldn't be a good way to deal with this, limit the possibilities to shut down the Darkseer. We've actually seen in some of the games we were casting at the start of the tournament, a lot of Darkseer bans is Mastery. He should be okay. Actually, that was our last tournament, wasn't it? Either way, earlier this. Whoa, maybe he's not okay.
Dark Troll. Oh.
Okay. All right, we're good.
He was committed.
But the attack damage bonus is only 10 at level 1, so he's not that scary. But Darkseer, now he makes it through the draft. Part of that ban, I think, earlier on though, was focused on the idea of just like there's so many heroes that you have to get very specific, right, to deal with the Darkseer. You want to get a Dispel. You want someone who doesn't suffer from damage over time in the lane. And Faceless Void is one of these characters that actually doesn't really like dealing with a lot of damage over time because he likes those very short bursts that he can actually time walk off.
Correct. Not nearly as good as the Life Stealer, the Jug.
Yeah, someone who has some sort of a healing mechanic to try and deal with this, but. In the bottom lane, after their deaths, things have been going better. Obviously, they almost get the kill onto Mastery. The last hits aren't too terrible. Tank's a very close-range arrow. And this is supposed to be a great matchup for the Slark, of course.
Both safe laners farming somewhat subpar right now. Slark 5-3, Void 8-3. Slight advantage. James has been doing a good job not letting Naive have an advantage over the Underlord in these first couple levels, playing very aggressive in the lane, constantly auto-attacking, even just chucking short-range arrows into Naive.
Yeah, I think they need to be wary of the fact, though, that he can't necessarily leave, right? That's when the Underlord's really going to run into trouble.
Right.
If James tries to make some sort of rotation, maybe like the 4-minute rune or something, Mastery's going to have to be very cautious to ensure that he doesn't just feed away.
Yep. Good call there. Up top, Cheshire Cat takes a dual breath. Pretty low, but he'll be okay for now.
Okay, we're just going to keep salving up Smiling Knight here.
Jakiro, a pretty darn effective 5.
Yeah, someone who is pretty good at counter initiating too. So maybe pointing the ice path or even level 2 dual breath obviously is pretty good for now. Just the attack speed slow kind of hurts.
Double the burn damage. Yeah. Cheshire Cat with a surge.
Yeah, he couldn't get lucky. That could have been it. And one of those old double bashes.
12% chance. The time lock. Yep. A hope and a prayer. Now down bottom. Oh, blow for blow. James and Arc-X Angel. James will win that one.
It was the one who started out really low, but it manages to win it as the rune is spawning. The stun comes through at the right moment, but
Lightless gets the rune. Makes it back. That's a victory for the Quap. No surprise, both heroes with bottles again. Up top now, Cheshire Cat surged out. I think he's okay. Eknar, not enough mana for another dual breath. Only one stick charge.
Structures are fortified.
I think last time Lightless also didn't get any of the runes, if I'm not mistaken, on the Queen of Pain. They had that like weird fight too where she
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean she did get that one kill over the map, and then it went to the Mirana too, so already things just looking a lot better is what I'm getting at. A full wave ahead of the Bat Rider. After this it's gonna be
This is a rocky start for Khan. All 3 of the lanes not really going in their favor. Top 3 of the net worth are all the cores of Empire. Slark he's doing okay down bottom, but behind the Void, and again, not really able to punish this Underlord pick at all. At least not yet.
Yeah, they could try something here, knowing that James is going for the bounties, but they're not really in a position for it. He can shove the wave. He's got 2 points in the Firestorm. He only goes for the range creep, though. Maybe they are going to try this with the speed creep.
Okay, never mind. Window not as tight as I thought. Arrow flies over, and James is back. Good harassment onto Mastery, but not enough.
I mean, it's kind of their first instance of it, though. So he still had a salve, and now he still has 3 tangos remaining, too. So not too concerned. Meanwhile, Lightless also taking quite a bit of damage there in the mid lane, forced to salve up here. Firefly comes out from Pikachu.
3 kills, 3k net worth. You do the math, Trent.
Can't find the grab up top either. They have the Iron Shell, the kick, the roll, nothing connecting on the Eknard. And just like very similar case to what happened to Empire last game of like certain things you need to get done in the early game, things you expect from your draft, when you just don't connect on them, it's like, you know, the draft doesn't really matter if you're not executing.
Yep. Trying to have a go onto Cheshire Cat there, but not going to find anything. It was the double damage onto Lightless, so certainly a kill opportunity.
Yeah, he's not going to miss much in the mid lane, though, so it's not really a costly rotation.
Gildir grabs a courier.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. It's a regen for Pikachu. Not a very good rune for a bat. Was really hoping for a haste.
1 for 1 on power runes.
They have a level 3, now 4 Darkseer, but versus a level 5 Faceless Void, and there will be damage in this Chrono. If the Sonic Wave hasn't been burnt by then, you know Lightless is going to come up right away and just chuck it in.
I'm a little bit at a loss for words, though. Like, it's only 3 kills. I don't quite know why these lanes have gone so bad for Khan. I mean, look at the net worth breakdown, and this is bad for 7 minutes.
Well, they've gone for a couple of kills up top and missed them, so that's wasting their time, and they're not necessarily on the wave. Cheshire Cat is pushing the wave under the tower. That's one problem with Darkseer, right? Is that if you don't connect and get the kills with the pressure, then he just gets free farm, because the wave's always going to shove under. Plus, you can't even guarantee all the last hits with Ion Shell if you're not getting the kills or cutting and taking the whole wave.
Right, so, especially with only a level 2 Ion Shell, it's pretty easy denies for Empire.
Yeah, and
21 on Void, for example.
And then he just gets a last hit under tower, which is very easy for a Void with Quelling Blade. I feel like it's just gotten easier with like the way the tower was changed. I don't know. I find it easier now.
Yeah, I do too. And then down bottom, maybe this is the most shocking of the lanes. Mid is whatever. Top, as you mentioned, they missed some kills. Ench, I thought she'd be able to secure this lane for Slark, and he is getting bullied by this Underlord. Now about 900, 800 net worth behind him. 41 and 14 on the Underlord, 19 and 6 on the Slark as they find Archangel with an arrow pit combo.
This is kind of snowballing out of control for them. They got what, the double kill at the start of the game too on them.
Yeah.
So their game didn't start out that great. And right from the beginning, since Master's just been kind of controlling the lane, he's always had the damage edge. Now he's sitting with 75 bonus damage. It's not like the Slark really wants to come contest this. Now he needs some XP space so he can get the 6, but they're going to fight up top.
Bill Gear. Oh, Sonic Wave comes out. Looks like Lightless might be the first one to go down, though James comes in, connects with an arrow onto Pikachu. Both mid laners taking big damage. It'll be Lightless that falls first. Now Gil Gear on the run. And he'll roll back down to safety.
I see our friend Cheshire Cat appears to have made an error here.
He
as
died
he was
in
juggling.
neutrals?
Yeah, he
Hell happened.
I don't know. I highly doubt he did that on purpose. Maybe I'm wrong, but
It is a
judging by
stacked
how the
hard
camp
camp.
got left.
And given that his team was fighting during that, I don't. can't
Either
imagine.
way, they're going to try and turn things around by actually killing the Mastery with the leash and the Iron Shells.
This will be big. Can they get it, though? Lightless is here. There's no Sonic Wave, but the Underlord's just a bit too tanky. Now the turn onto Cheshire Cat.
Oh, it's awkward.
Ice Path connects, and he's done. I think they've lost this window where they can easily punish this Underlord. He's pretty high level now at 7. He's just tanky enough.
Yeah, the matchup is not happening. Things were augmented by the supports and the way things started.
Big testament to James, the way he played that lane. Very aggressive, keeping the Slark on the back foot.
Radiant structures
Man,
are fortified.
feels like there's no option. Mid lane as well. They can't even get the finish onto James as Gilgear just TPs out in their faces.
6-1 now. 5K net worth lead is 10-minute bounties around the corner. Already 17% win chance for Team Con.
Wow. Man, Dota Plus really likes taking sides early. I mean, I can't blame it. This is a really brutal
It
start.
likes Void and Spectre a lot, so you got to keep the Void factor in mind here, buddy.
I mean, it's not even just that, though. It's a really good Void game.
Yeah?
I don't mind if it really likes a hero when it's a brutal game. I'm still not really into this Slark pick.
And yeah, Smiling Knight's gone Midas level 1, or Midas first item rather, with brown boots. So great timing there. Amazing on the Void, of course. He wants XP, he wants farm, but gets a huge amount of benefit out of the attack speed.
Now it's time for the big executions. All right, let's see if Con is truly the better team. I kind of agree with what they were saying. Like, I do feel like Con overall has played better across the two games. Like with the way Game 1 played out, like how many times it took for Empire to finally win that, and then they make pretty huge mistake on the side of Con, sure, but I do feel like they still had a very good chance of winning that one if
Well,
they
here it
played a
is.
little bit more patient.
Chrono rotation down bottom. Void's made the TP, looking for a setup. Unfortunately for Empire, it's only Archangel, so not the high-value kill they were perhaps hoping for. They do find it nice and easy, again, with that pit arrow combo.
Now, do you TP Mastery the top lane and just let him camp there for a while? Not necessarily needed for the siege at this point.
Yeah, they'll focus this around a siege creep as well, so that's an easy tier 1 tower.
He's going to guard Eknar as he moves in mid lane for some good wards. They're going to miss the arrow mid. But no fear from James.
Dark Pact, I mean, they get naive pretty low. Potential lasso play, but James just walks away from it. Now the Ice Path connects onto Bat Rider, dual breath. They hold the pit, though. More rotations coming out of Con.
I like how they're not worrying about the top quite yet and instead focusing on this mid lane because the Darkseer just pushes so slow.
Here's the roll. Magnetize connects on 3. Jakiro trying to break things up. Mastery with a pit. Looks like they'll just turn onto Gilgear for now. Empire sustaining through it. And Magnetize almost done. Invis Rune denied by James. Now Pikachu, he's going to be the one on the run. There will be a pit here in a couple seconds. Cheshire Cat dies off to the side.
Yeah, he chronoed him under tower.
Continues.
Smiling Knight
That's
came
3.
through and just dropped it because he was still pushing bottom, right? And then he made the rotation through.
Yeah.
And after Slark left, Naive went top to just try and take that tower. So he got something, but they just lost more in the mid.
Tower has fallen.
Otto almost gets that courier, but easy tower now. 7K net worth lead. Yeah, I was pretty tunneled on that Bat Rider chase, but I guess a solid chrono just to find the solo kill, not let the Darkseer present any saves.
And they still have Sonic Wave. Very bad sign for Con.
Wild how game 1 of this series felt so back and forth and pretty evenly matched, and then game 2 and now the beginning of game 3, very one-sided.
It's dropped to a 5% on Dota Plus.
At 13 minutes.
4%. That's crazy. I do not see that very often.
No.
Denied.
It is just a stupidly good Void game, and he is king of the castle by a pretty silly margin right now. He's getting dangerously close to being equivalent in net worth to the top 2 farmers of the Radiant combined.
All right, well,
Those are the kind of stats that get scary.
they don't have save for the Chrono, but they also don't have save for Lasso on the enemy team, really. They have to, like, hit an Ice Path or something. Is there a Yules yet? There's no Yules yet. There's some time. Perhaps they can get one of these big picks with a Surge Lasso.
There also won't be a Yules that soon. Queen of Pain is going for the Orchid first item, not a Yules. So maybe a longer window to make something happen here. There's the Surge.
They
Pikachu
just
leading
missed.
the charge. They find Lightless. Fire maybe looking for a turn. Lightless does survive. Magnetize might still finish him off. No, he's good. They get 2 in exchange. Gilgear and Cheshire Cat. Big time disaster.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That's more than a bummer. That's a skin knee, my man.
Unfortunate. You'd have to take slightly riskier plays in this kind of a situation. And that was a good one. I think overall that was a fine play. They just took a big guess on the roll. Didn't connect on the Queen of Pain. Would have been the kill had he. A little bit extra damage there.
The hole is digging deeper, getting closer to desperation mode for Khan. I think they don't have much of a choice but to just keep playing around this lasso. It's their only bet to find kills.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Pikachu, he's Brown Boots, Drum of Endurance. One of the first games in a while we haven't seen a Bat Rider go first item BOT because he just straight couldn't afford it. He needed something that he could build up to.
And the worst part is he finally has a good moment here and there's no lasso. Mastery is just so cheeky. He knows.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got this ward vision. He knows there's all these heroes around and he cannot die right now.
Certainly moments like this as an Underlord where you can feel your strength. Got the Hood of Defiance.
Again, he's getting so much vision from this ward back here. Like, he's seen all these rotations through and he's trying to force them into something because they now know actually
Ice
move
Path?
on it.
Will connect onto Gilgear. Arrow just barely connects in time before it expires, and the Earth Spirit gets full to zeroed. Beautiful. Double damage rune.
We saw an early surrender last match, but this is game 3. I don't know if they'll be so quick to jump out of this one.
This is one you're going to want to hang in. Even if there's a 2% chance, I think you'll roll the dice on that bad boy.
Well, don't worry, buddy. They got 3.
Hey, 50% more.
The optimist way of looking at it. Hey.
Marginal gains.
Well, I said I didn't want Naive to go for the Midas. At this point, I don't necessarily care because I do agree that he's not going to be fighting anytime soon. I don't think that
Is
will
it
solve
enough
their problem.
though? Like, yeah, it's one of those. I get it. It's a recovery Midas. You need to do something crazy. Part of me feels like the craziness is like just go all in on a Shadow Blade or something, and like, I don't think you're gonna have enough time for this Midas to even pay off. That's my worry.
Well, if they ever win this game, it's going to have to have gone long enough for it to have payoff, I think. So,
Yeah.
you know.
I guess they already have a set of drums on the Bat Rider, so that's one value item off the list. The Archangel killed by James, but Chrono in the mid lane, connected by 2. Follow-up damage. Necropyre should set up both of these kills. They get Cheshire Cat, they get Pikachu. The Surge rendered completely useless as the Pit of Malice followed up. That is now 3 dead.
They'll just have to watch the tower go, but then they will have a chance to perhaps opt in for a play, right? Again, you got to make some wild plays. You got to do some crazy stuff. They're going to have Lasso. They'll have Wall. They got Magnetized. They need to smoke up after this when everyone's up, right? And try and punish the next move out of Empire. Their ward vision, it's really good up top, so if they retreat to farm in that area, maybe they can get a pick based off of that, but if they start moving to bottom or up here, then or up into their own ancient camp, will be harder to grab, but I'm sure they're going to clear this wave mid and smoke. It's pretty much their only option.
I think you're right, my friend.
Unfortunately,
1
it's
to
under
16.
an observer ward too, that they just smoked right there.
Wah.
Yeah, so they're gonna know that's coming. You see the line drawn from Mastery. He thought they went to the right. In reality, they've kind of gone for a bit of a loop-de-loop before coming back to the mid. Everyone's gonna be playing on high grounds and being wary of a potential smoke gank.
Doesn't look like they're going to find much. Still very far from a blink on bat. And how long on Chrono? Still 74.
They
Into
re-smoke.
enemy territory. Who are we going to find? It's the
Nice
Void.
silence. Oh, so
Not
close.
long enough. But now the lasso, some follow-up damage. The TPs are here, though. They want to turn this around. Smiling Knight is surviving. The Darkseer gets off a decent combo, but they're all just too tanky. Darkseer falls first. Bat Rider getting chased down by Mastery, caught by an ice path. No retreat. 2 down, and of course, the hero they started on, the Faceless Void, survives.
Again, there's really no other play, but obviously, yeah,
GG.
they're done.
That's it. Khan, no. And I don't think it's too soon. This one got out of control way too quickly. And well, it's an impressive showing from Empire. 18-1, 19 minutes.